It's BB and Dealey, we know you have been waiting, so here's another podcast about movies, burn after watching.
Welcome to the Burn After Watching podcast. I'm Borderland.
This is Dan.
And today we are talking about Warfare
Yeah.
from Alex Garland. I almost called it Alex Garland. And we are talking about Sinners by Ryan Coogler.
Oh, yeah.
Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Find us everywhere. We're going to get started. This will be a spoiler discussion. Warfare's been out for a couple weeks now. And Sinners is in its second week. There's some spoiler in Sinners, especially if you have not checked out the second trailer of the film. So if you want to be fully unspoiled, probably skip this second portion. But realistically, if you've seen the trailer and everything, I think this is not like a major spoiler. Like it's not a big deal to know.
Yeah.
The subject matter of the film, it's part of the core of the story. So spoiler, last chance. Spoilers.
Spoilers.
Warfare.
Woo.
Alex Garland. He's the guy that did Civil War last year. He also did Annihilation and Ex Machina, which I think Ex Machina is probably his biggest film. He wrote a lot of film though. I was going through like his writing credits.
Yeah.
He wrote 20 days later, and the new 20 years later that will be coming out. He also wrote Dread and Sunshine and most of his own film. Like I said, Civil War, Ex Machina, Annihilation. Civil War came out last year, and Warfare is another war movie. It's co-directed by Ray Mendoza, who's a U.S. Army veteran, I think.
I think so.
I think you were more excited than me for this one. I saw the trailer around Christmas, and I was like, this sounds interesting, but I was not a big fan of Civil War. I thought it was just okay. So I guess you told me you were excited for it for a reason that like I was not really tapped into. So why don't you tell me about what caught your eye with this one?
So it's interesting because I'm not a big like director guy, you know. I just if I see a movie and I like it, I'm just gonna watch it. I don't look too deep into their past credits. Civil War, I'll be honest too, like wasn't fantastic. It was super loud, right? Which is a good running theme. It's a good trope where you're in the theater. I think I was watching something else, and the theater beside me was Civil War. It was so loud you can barely hear what I was currently watching, which is also forgettable. But I saw the trailer. They're all like up and coming actors. For the most part, they're like 30 and under. Like Joseph Quinn, who's in Stranger Things. He's maybe one of the older actors, but otherwise these are like all future stars of Hollywood. So I was excited to see very familiar faces, and I am like a war movie aficionado. I love like Saving Private Ryan. Coming back from Lisbon, I saw a 1981 movie called Memphis Blue. It was terrible, but it was also an ensemble cast. But there's a lot of themes in here, like the music. It was like music was pumping. It's they're stuck in a place where they have to kind of get out, and that's where it kind of like built upon like this is brotherhood, where we're gonna get through this together. Some people might die, but we're gonna figure out how to get there, and it all had the elements of a really good war movie.
Yeah,
and just seeing familiar faces and great music like kind of got me going. Of like thinking this is gonna be one of the top films of 2025. So those were kind of the things that pulled me in. Charlie Milton, Joseph Quinn, Will Poulter. Like it was just more so the actor pull than it was the actual content, so to speak.
It's kind of funny because I feel like I know, except Charles Melton from May December, and like I almost know nobody in this.
Will Poulter is like from The Bear. He's like a guest appearance. He's also in that.
He's in a lot of stuff.
He's in a lot of comedy things, and now he's slowly getting big. Charlie Milton, May December. Joseph Quinn was from Stranger Things. Kit Connor is from like a Netflix show. It's like Heartbreakers or something like that. Which is really good. And then Noah Centino is a big guy from like To All the Boys I Love Again, like that rom-com series on Netflix. And he's in a bunch of other romantic / action movie stuff. So, yeah, seems like a good cast.
This could be a meeting because I didn't know. Like, I feel like I don't recognize most of those actors. Like, I know them. Like, clicking through Letterboxd now, I can see like, oh, I've seen a film with this guy, and I remember him now. Joseph Quinn was in Gladiator. He was one of the like twin king. So they're not brand name for me yet, where like I know their name. But I've seen them in things. I feel though, and maybe this is because I'm not yet used to like their faces and their voice. I feel like the way the film is shot, there's not a lot of emphasis on. First of all, they all look kind of alike because of the old army setup. You know, like you barely see their faces. I feel like it was hard for me to even like. Charles Melton, I think, might be playing some of the guy coming at the end to rescue them. Like I feel like I would have a really tough go at trying to tell you who they played and like who they were, because the movie is not focused on the character that much. Like you don't learn much about them. It's all in real time. Yeah. And to me, my biggest issue with the film, which is kind of the opposite issue of Civil War, which is funny. I think like the technical aspect of both those films are amazing. The sound design is insane on both of them. I think it's a bit too, Civil War is too loud. Like I had to like cover my ears. The technicals are as good and even better, I would say, on Warfare. The thing is, like, it felt like Civil War, the story was so complicated for no reason. And it was, I feel like the core of capturing atrocity for the sake of documentation so we don't repeat our mistake through the eyes of like war photographer was a really cool idea. And then wrapping this into like even though they tried to distance itself from it, the political like Civil War, like it was unnecessary. It was not fully explored. It was barely explored. And at first it feels like this is going to be a movie about a reflection on war, a reflection on the documentation of war, etc. And then at the end of the last 30 minutes of Civil War, it's like, no, we are an action movie now. And now this is an action scene. Versus Warfare, it's like, there's barely a script here. Like, it feels like it's a lot of, like, people waiting, something happening, people are screaming, people are telling each other what the plan is over and over again. It felt like it was really repetitive. Like, for 30 minutes, there's someone hurt on the floor screaming. There's people trying to help them. They're waiting for someone to help them. They get shot. That's 30 minutes, and nothing really happened because you don't really get to know the characters. You don't really... The movie doesn't move along because it's in real time as well. They don't have a lot of flexibility to, like, say, oh, let's go explore this now or this. It's really stuck in its own way, in a way where it's really repetitive. I feel like I see the same scene over and over, and let's move on from this a bit. And that's for me what didn't work. It's funny because I think overall I probably liked it more than you from just score wise, because the technical are just amazing, but the story is non-existent, and that's the part that I wish was better than Civil War, because that was also the problem with Civil War to me.
Yes. Civil War, I feel like they did a bit of a better job of like character building. This one started off like so strong. Like the opening scene of watching, what's it, like Eric Padea's that like music video of like that started off strong. I'm like, okay, this is like, it's almost giving Fraternity. Like there's a lot of like same elements of like male bonding. It's almost like toxic masculinity to a certain degree. Yeah. But I'm like, okay, this is like, we're getting into like these themes of like a togetherness and brotherhood. And then it falls so flat. You see the faces of every individual, but they're all stuck in essentially a single house the entire movie. Yeah. And you wanted to, like, I thought it was going to continue when the movie kind of ends. I checked my watch and I was like, was that? Like, that felt like an hour because nothing happened. There were small conversations between people. They're like that's some new guy energy. Like Will Poulter did like Kid Connor when he's like doing like push-ups or he's like walking around. But like, there's no actual dialogue between like two people. It's they check in on each other, then they move on. It's not like in-depth conversations of like, you know, Will Poulter is like the number one. Then he gets concussed most likely, and it's always, I can't lead. I'm not feeling great. Hey, you have to switch positions with me. It doesn't go past like the first level of conversation, and that was pretty annoying when it's just 12 dudes stuck in a single house.
Yeah, I feel like there's four kind of part to the film. There's the kind of like looking at what's happening outside the house for 20
Yeah.
minutes. Then like they get attacked, and then there's okay, we need to leave this place. So there's 20 minutes of them talking about the plan to leave this place. Then they try to leave this place. Then there's a second attack. Then there's 20 minutes or like even 30 minutes of people that are hurt and screaming. And now a new plan needs to be put in place. And then all they talk about is trying to save the people that are hurt and the new plan. Then some people arrive to help them. And then now the last part of the film is now this is another new plan about leaving the entirety of the group. And like there's more mechanic to this, but it's really all it is. Most of the film is them talking about how they're going to exit. And it's not that it can't be good. I just feel like we don't know the character enough to really care about who survived. Like, realistically, not a lot of people really truly die. Like, there's one person which is, like, you could tell that, like, one of the, like, very specific characters, you're like, those are there to, like, die later in the film. Because we don't spend any time with them, except when it's convenient, because we're about to kill them. but like, it's really, and I know it's based on a true story, so like they're not really gonna change what happened. But in terms of like picking a story to tell, I felt it would have been more interesting if there was either a moral dilemma about killing the people that they were surveying at the beginning, or a moral dilemma about the family house that they just take, and the family is still in the house, and you spend no time with the family, where the army of a different country just come in and take over their house, basically destroy everything, put their life in danger. You spend no time with them. There's no the army itself do not give a shit. It's not even something they care about. And I feel like there could have been an interesting moral dilemma there. And also, I felt like if they would have to progress or try to go save someone somewhere else, almost like the team coming to save who we follow the entirety of the movie, might have been more interesting to follow than the actual people that we are following. And I agree, like the intro scene to me felt like, all right, this is interesting, right? This is a bunch of guys, like I assume it's before the event of the majority of the film that this is happening, bonding over simplicity and something that is like super kind of like surface level with the song and the woman and everything. Almost maybe either as a coping mechanism or something to like change their mind. And it's not said like this, but I thought, okay, like this could be interesting if there's like there's a commentary about like the thing you need to like fool yourself to like be okay with all this shit that you that you're gonna live. I almost wish though that this scene would have been at the end. It would have been super interesting that they go through all this shit and they finish with them celebrating to a stupid music video. As like you have no choice, life go on, and you have to just keep going. And it's just that's kind of like the impact of war. But it does not, like all those things are things that my brain is thinking about. The movie do nothing to like even have a hint of like messages or like here's the lesson. It's not that like, oh, here's a lesson, like eat it. It's not necessarily like pro army or against the army. It's not pro-war or against war. It's not really trying to like, let's talk about this thing that nobody talks about. It's kind of like pro or against nothing. It's just, here's something that happened that has no significance really, but we wanted to tell it.
it just felt like a random mission, right? There's also like no democracy, like no like pro this new religion or way of politics that's going to change like your life. It's very much like the equivalent of like bland chicken. Like you know what it is. You know that this is going to be a movie about a war related event, but there's nothing of significance. Like if you were to compare this like apples to apples with like Saving Private Ryan, there is a story there where you're following, you're trying to find this brother who has lost his other brothers, all killed in action. There's at least something to follow here. But with warfare, just going back to like the noises, you have Joseph Quinn, and the actor's name is Cosmo Jarvis, which is a killer name, probably one of the best parts of this whole movie franchise. But there's just two people yelling for the better half of like the half of the movie. It's just them yelling how they're in pain, how they don't want to be moved, how they need to get morphine. But like it's almost like you like I almost equate it as like I need morphine to get through this movie, but somehow it's still so short. I just can't believe it was 90 minutes, or 96 minutes it says here, but I got nothing out of it. I think, and that's why I was so angry, because my expectations were so high. The marketing of this movie, they're pumping it pretty hard. So I fell into the trap. And I think that's why I was just so disappointed, because I got nothing from this film outside of disappointment.
Yeah, so I think I would have not went to see it if you didn't like pump me up on it, because I was not a fan of Civil War, and I was like, this sounds like exactly the same stuff, so I'm gonna watch it at home. And then you were like, oh, like all those actors, and I was like, okay, I can kind of get excited about it now that you present it that way. The technical though are really cool. I think one thing that you mentioned is there's something like called show of force, where like they basically call for a jet plane to just fly super low to the ground to just like basically create like crazy noise, wind, and like basically a distraction for them to do something else in the meantime. The execution of like the sound design, visually, you really feel it. You feel it in the theater. And I think for me, that's the only value I got out of it, is like the impeccable sound design. The sound experience was great. I don't see why I would ever say, oh yeah, go see this, versus something like Earthlocker, or even like Black Hawk Down. Which one is about the assassination of Bin Laden? Is it Black Hawk Down?
No, that's Zero Dark 30.
Zero Dark 30. Like those kind of film, to me, it's like, all right, extremely well made, Hurt Locker and Zero Dark 30, and telling a story that is important for at least American history. So I think like it's important for a lot of other country. So I think there's value there, as much value as reading a history book. Versus this, it feels like, what are you getting out of it, really, like truly, except like you can be on a technical level, it's a cool film, but like who really care about this except people that are extremely into film?
It's either you're extremely into film or you're extremely into following certain actors, like kind of like how some people are very much into like I will watch all Alex Garland movies. Some people will say I will always watch all Joseph Quinn movies. Like that's the only thing I can think of as to why you should watch this movie. Otherwise, to your point, there's so many other good war movies out there that you'll actually get something out of. Like even as of recent 1917, it was about it's all shot following this one person. He has to warn the generals that they shouldn't go ahead with the attack. Like that was a very interesting film. I've seen like 6 times. So this one was just it was missing the message, even though some people don't want a message and they just want to turn off their brain and watch something fun. This is just not it. It's not fun at all.
it has no story, but it's not like Top Gun Maverick. It's not a good entertainment either, right? Like there's war movie that have no substance but are more fun to watch because it's more about the entertainment value, but that's not one of them either. Like it's really hard to understand who this is for, except that they wanted to do it. I still give it a 3.5 because I truly believe that the technicals are amazing. Like I just wish they had a better story. And thinking that this is the second film in 2 years about like war film from the same director, I feel like maybe you could have taken a bit more time between your film and make something that is more interesting. Like I think Ex Machina, I don't know if you've seen this, but it's about like AI, but it was made like 10 years ago, and it's really deep. Like it's really asking big question about AI, and it was doing it early, and there's a lot of moral dilemma, and it's really interesting. It's well made. Annihilation is also interesting, a little bit more sci-fi, but another good film. Men, I heard, is not good, and then those two films back to back, I feel just disappointing when you get the chance to make a film, and like A24 is like, here's millions of dollars, and it's a small studio. Like, I feel like you should make an effort to be more than just technical spectacle. Technical spectacle.
Technical spectacle, fractal Lakers in 5. I think it's I think it's to your point. Like Ex Machina, I was blown away when I first watched it, and I was like, "Oh, am I getting a weird kink on robots now?" But I thought like that movie was fantastic, even though I hated horror back then. 28 Days Later like did something. It was really really pushed the limits on like zombie movies. But everything else that you've mentioned, Men, I saw the trailer, awful. Dread, it was at least okay. It doesn't beat the original, but ever since, like, Garland's been pushing out some subpar stuff, and I think we should change calling Alex Garland to how you pronounce it earlier in this pod, Alex Garlic.
Alex Garland. Because it makes you cry.
Exactly.
You gave it a 3-star out of 5?
3-star, yeah.
It's kind of on the line. I think for me it's a save. If you care about technical spectacle, I think it's worth it. It's such a short film. I think it's worth it. If you like Civil War, most likely you can like this. If you don't like Civil War, I still think there's a chance that like it's different enough that it might, like, I wouldn't base my the chance that I like Warfare based on if I don't or do like Civil War. But if you hated Civil War, I think most likely you're gonna hate it, this as well. But I'm gonna save it tentative for a very specific group of people. It's a save.
Okay, I'm gonna say this is a burn unless you're watching it at home, and you don't watch any trailers and you've never heard of Alex Garlic. This is a good starter movie to watch outside of Ex Machina.
Yeah, I would say go watch Ex Machina. Like, I mean, all right. Let's talk about Sinners, which is a film by Ryan Coogler with Michael B. Jordan. There's also Ailey Steinfeld, a bunch of other. Jack O'Connell. Not a lot of people that I do know, but a lot of great performance. Is it Miles Caton? No, Miles Caton is his first film. There's a guy in this film that is in so many films, and I really like him. Delroy Lindo. That guy. He's a supporting guy. But amazing actor. You'll recognize him in the film. This is a spoiler discussion. This is a story of two twin brothers in the 1930s that go back to where they were born in the Deep South during the Jim Crow era, which basically is the segregation in the Deep South, where you had color bathroom and white only bathroom, stuff like this. And they are basically looking to open a bar to have blues and kind of like black culture be able to live in that town. And at some point, they basically have white people showing up and telling them that they want to be welcome into their bar, and they basically refuse. And this then become a vampire movie with a lot of interesting layers. I went in with very little expectation. I did hear like amazing review from almost everyone I know before then. But it's really my type of film, like horror, thriller. But this was really a treat. And I'm going to leave it to Dan to let us know what he thought.
Yeah, it's interesting. I probably would not have seen this movie. I barely saw a trailer. I don't think I've actually saw a trailer before going into it. And Alex, you pushed this out saying like, this seems like a good one. You might check it out. So I checked it out. Talking about history, so historical, even though this is obviously a fictional movie. Hopefully there's no vampires out there, but there's so much like deep historical context in here with two different groups of people of color, with African American and Asian Americans, and a lot of things about oppression, even with Irish Americans as well. So it's so layered. But when it comes to myself and watching horror movies, vampires was always a huge thing for me, and I freaked out. Vampires did freak me out a whole bunch when I was younger. Like Dusk Till Dawn, I saw it when I was super young. Definitely shouldn't have seen it. Salma Hayek did weird thing. It was a sexual awakening for me. But this was just so good. I caught myself with like my mouth open several times while watching this movie. The music, kind of like how in Warfare, the trailer in the for Warfare was this like hard electrical beat called like the band's called like OPR and something else, but the music in this where it's blues, so it's coming from like deep oppression from culture and the society and all that stuff. It was so good. It almost felt like, because there's a lot of like stomping and like slapping and any kind of like body hitting yourself or hitting the floor to make impact of the sound, it like shook me to my core. And like the vampires aspect was really good, because the movie started off with that first half an hour is like world building, right? Who is Smoke and Stack? Where are these brothers coming from? What did they do in Chicago before they came to the South? Who is the preacher's son? Who is Haley Steinfeld's relationship? I thought that was like a perfect way to introduce it. And then it's a cutscene where a bunch of Native Americans are chasing Jack O'Connell, and he's covered in burns. And you don't really see it. I didn't know this was a vampire movie before I went to go see it, and he disappears. They take this guy in. He's offering gold that they've never seen before, but gold nonetheless. Disappears, and boom, it shook me. It caught me off guard. I thought it did a really good job of introducing vampires into this movie.
So I knew that there would be vampire because I saw the second trailer before. I don't remember which movie. I think that like it works both ways. I think it's great to not know, obviously. What I love about the film personally is that a lot of films try to do like to appeal to everyone, and they end up having no substance, or they end up like basically just being about nothing because they're trying to please everyone. I think though this one, you can enjoy this film purely at the entertainment level of like people killing vampires. You can get a lot with the layer of like racism in the South in that era. How vampire, who are blood-sucking creature, are in the film coming in, trying to say basically, we want to be a part, because there's one thing too. Those vampire in the movie have a hive kind of mind. So when they kill someone and make them a vampire, all their culture, their memories, everything they know goes into the hive mindset, and then everyone has access to this, which is a great metaphor for how white people come in, take Black culture and make it about them, and decide what they want to keep and what they don't want to keep, and then basically take, blues is now rhythm and blues, and rhythm and blues is now rock and roll, and now this is a popular culture thing. So in the film, those vampire, the funny thing too is that they have this rule, which other vampire movie have, where the vampire cannot cross the threshold of the property without being invited in. And it's almost this idea of like, we make it appealing. We want you to invite us, and then we take everything we have from you. We are blood sucking. We are taking your soul and your life and your blood out of you. And in terms of like the setting of the 1930s in the Deep South, the representation of what the bar is for that town, like a refuge for Black culture and blues, and how the white people playing their banjo are coming in and say like, we just want to perform, we just want to like play with you guys, and it's all about like taking away from them and like appropriation, and like that. The movie on that level is amazing. I think it's extremely good. It's not to worry about entertainment for the sake of entertainment. All the entertainment is extremely well done and extremely entertaining. The Asian American character arc, it was actually my favorite, especially the woman at the end. The way that she sacrifice herself to revenge or and save our daughter in the long term potentially was awesome. The fact that they keep cutting back to her slowly burning was so metal as fuck. It was just so insane. Like I couldn't believe that whole sequence. And I think something else you mentioned is there's a sequence, I don't even know how they did it, man. The sequence where, because you have some notion of religion, the devil and the good and the bad, but also some more spiritual kind of like voodooism kind of like reference, and this idea of this young blues player, some musicians are so talented that their music reach into different not universe, like how,
It was
what
like
would you
time, right? It was like past and future.
yeah, it's able to like connect with spirits from different times. And there's one scene where he plays a song at the guitar, and you have black musician from all eras, from the past to the future, hip hop, electronic, Jimi Hendrix type characters, all coming together in a one planned sequence of a party. It's this is like cocaine for like film people. Like this is the type of scene that like you will remember, that just stands out, that you just remember. Like I feel like you mentioned it too, which I assume it stand out for you as well.
Yeah, it's you have not only musicians from all genres, all time, like past and future timelines, but you also have dancers as well. So there's like ballerinas, there's also b-boys, there's like tap dancers. It's all different kind of creative art forms coming out, and it really stuck out. But it was not only like that singing sequence; it was also Sammy, the young blues artist, like the preacher's son. He's hitting on an older woman who's married, and she came out to the juke. She's singing her heart out while someone's playing piano, while Haley Steinfeld is like essentially converting one of the twins. But like her yelling, her screaming, her singing was so powerful that it almost like in the movie it masks, probably the screaming of Michael B. Jordan getting killed. But all the musical performances of this movie was like, it was just so good. Right after the movie ended, I went on YouTube Music and I looked up the soundtrack just to hear not only like the banjo playing of Jack O'Connell from outside, they're all like dancing together as a community of vampires, but all the blues from Delroy singing in the car. Everyone was just somehow so musically talented that it tied things in so well when it comes to the concept of community through trauma, so to speak.
Yeah, and the film happens in it's like 36 hours, like basically over 36 hours. It's not in real time, but it's very constrained of a time. It's mostly one night, to be honest. Yeah. And there's a lot of like, I mean, it feels so rich in detail. It feels... There's a lot of very little things that are addressed, and it's not like they are like dwelling over it. And that's why I think it works as just an entertainment. If you're looking for a good horror thriller, it's definitely more thriller than horror. I wouldn't say it's an horror film, even though it is qualified as one. But it's there's just a lot to dig in. I feel like, and I think you mentioned this in your own review, that this is a film that like you would get a lot out of watching again. The 2 hour 18 minutes runtime for me flew by.
Oh yeah.
But like over time, I feel like this will become just kind of like one of those, I guess we used to call them like a video store classic, where it's like they were never enormous movie that made like crazy amount of money, but it's like Fight Club, where it's just like it was always rented at the video store, but there was only one copy of them because it's not a big film. It's like those video store classic, which don't exist anymore, obviously. But the type of movie that people will be buying on disc, even though nobody, almost nobody have disc anymore, because it's just one of those films.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to put it. I think it's just like, this is one, like I rated this 5 stars because I really love every aspect of the movie, and something that I'm going to try to push Colleen to watch as well. But This is almost like an instant classic for me. This is almost giving like same vibes as Monkey Man last year, where so early in the year I saw it. It caught me so off guard. It was so good, that it's instantly within my top three. I can probably call it right now. With by the end of this calendar year, Sinners will probably still be in my top three of the best movies of the year, and I think all around everyone did a really good job. Ryan Coogler is at least one director I still remember, because one of my favorite movies starring Michael B. Jordan is Fruitvale Station, which is also a very powerful movie, where it has a lot of similar themes. But yeah, these guys just struck it out of the park. A fantastic movie.
Looks amazing too. Like visually, it's stunning. And yeah, I agree. I mean, like I give it a 4 out of 5, because again, it's not. There's one thing that I thought was a bit that I didn't love, was that there's a lot of exposition dump. Especially there's a like 10-minute conversation at some point, at like right before the third act, where the vampire explained everything to, you know, like the rest of the character. They explain basically the premise of like what the vampire needs to do, and it was like, all right, yes, we need to know some of this information, but could it have been spread out, or like it felt like we need to stop the film to explain and then continue.
To be honest, I thought the ending was going to be different. So at the end of the movie, everything happens, right? The vampires, so to speak, are gone. But Michael B. Jordan tells Sammy to go. Like, you should go home, you know, like drop the guitar. Like, you're not about this life anymore. I'm going to stay here. What I thought was going to happen was his twin brother was actually still alive in the shed. And he was going to...
He was.
He
we
was?
realize. Well, at the end, he came back in the epilogue. I mean, he's a vampire still.
I'll be straight up honest. I did not stay to watch the post.
You didn't watch the epilogue? Really?
So now this makes a lot more sense. See, I was like, you know, where I thought the movie was going to go. I'll be honest. I had to hold in such a pee because I knew something amazing was going to happen. So I was like, I'm out of here, but now I'm going to have to find it. I thought how the movie was going to end was that the non-vampire Michael B. Jordan would go into the barn to kill off his brother, because they mentioned in the movie that they left all the guns in the truck, and they're like, we've got no more pepper left. So I thought he was gonna go in the car and then kill off his brother. Now I know there's still something left for me to find.
It's not even a post credit. It's like a mid credit. It's like 3 minutes into the credit, and it's like long. It's like 5 minutes. Basically, we are in the 1990s, and the young man that had like the scratch in the face that had the destroyed guitar is playing guitar in New York as a 90 years old, and then the bar is closing down. He's having a drink at the bar, and then Michael B. Jordan wearing like a Coogler sweater, little tiny glasses. He looked like Will Smith a little bit in the 90s. And Haley Steinfeld with a lollipop and like a leather coat comes in, and they're like, hey, you know, I could bite you right now, and you can live the rest of the life of as yourself, and you could get to see how much Black culture will continue to influence the world, and you'll be present for that. And he said, the only reason I will not kill you is that I promise my brother that I would never touch you. And I will keep that promise, but I can make you immortal basically by biting you, and you will still remain yourself. And the old guy said basically like, I'm not interested. Like basically I live my life and I want my story. Like you're basically saying that like there's value in ending a story. And then they just leave and they say, we'll see you on the other side. And then that's it. So it's really, I mean, like I'm sure you're going to rewatch it eventually. I'm sure you can probably find it online eventually. So go check it out. It's a worthwhile epilogue. Like stick around for that. Storytime. I have a very small story for you.
Hell yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so I show up at the theater. I'm by myself, and it's Sunday night, 6:30 p.m. Whatever. It's like half full, right? So when I'm by myself, at the movie, I normally sit second to last row, and I want to have someone behind me.
Yeah.
10 minutes into the film, 15 years old, came in and sit right in front of me. Okay, all three of them. I'm like, all right, Okay, they're a little bit late. It's fine. It's not a Minecraft freaking film. There's no TikTok trend here. So I assume they're just here because they actually care about film. They're already on their phone within like 5 minutes of it.
Oof.
Then there's a part where there's a mini jump scare with a snake.
Yeah.
And all three of them like really get scared. And then they stand up and they're like, whoa, like they basically like are then like, like they're mocking themselves about how scared they got. And they sit down right away. So I was like, all right. Like, I'm not going to say anything. Yeah. And then they talk. They take a picture of the screen.
Oh, God.
They on TikTok, they talk. And then they keep, like, one of them, like, put their feet in the air, like, both feet in the air and, like, shake like a cartoon character. I don't know. Like, they're doing, like, a bunch of crazy thing, okay? And at some point, I just lean in really close to like because I'm right in the middle of them, right? Like I'm behind the middle guy. And as I'm leaning in to say, can you please put your phone away and stop talking? One of the guys see me and tap both his friend on the, their legs. So I'm like, okay, I don't need to say anything. You got the message. So I lean back out. I watch the movie. Another 30 minutes go. And when the big scene of like music happened with True Time, they are like stomping their feet and jumping their seat, like vibing hard.
Oh God!
And I was like, that's it. I'm becoming the guy that will intervene and scare some children now. Yeah. So I literally grab the guy in front of me by the shoulder, not the seat. I put my hand on his shoulder and then I squeeze a little bit, and I'm like, "Are you gonna settle down?" Because I'm trying to watch the movie too.
Oh, sheesh.
And then not a single movement for the rest of the film. Even me, I can't believe I did this because I never talk in, like I would, normally I will just eat it. I will just, I'll move or I'll just eat it. Sometimes Mary will like shush people actively. And sometimes I will just make a like eye contact and then like put your phone away like without talking. Yeah. But like this time I was like, I have nothing to lose at this point, so I was like, I'm just gonna do it. And they at the end of the film, they left before the epilogue. They didn't even turn around to look at me. They just stand up and walk out. And I was like, that's it. This is my new personality now. Like they push. This is like them pushing me down the hill, like and there's no coming back. They all this year I take this shit where it slowly goes towards the hill and then they push me out, and now I'm gonna be the guy that just tell people to shut the fuck up.
Well, I think we have to paint a bit of a picture, right? For anyone who's seen the podcast, Alex, if you don't know him personally, physically, Alex is a giant. He's like he looks like he could be 6'6". Probably could have played basketball in Europe. Huge hands. And when I had to take out my appendix, I asked Alex to pick up medicine for me, and my mom was watching over me. My mom went downstairs. Literally, like, if you close your eyes and you think of an anime where there's a small Asian woman looking up to a titan, my mom looked up and looked at Alex, and covered in tattoos. There's a Korean word for gangster. She said, your friend Alex is a gangpae, which is gangster. You can be intimidating visually. So I could imagine as a 15-year-old causing a ruckus in the local theater that a much... an older man grabs your shoulder. I'm borderline leaving then and there. I'm like, one, I'm embarrassed because I'm ruining the theater experience for others, but this angry man's going to beat me up. So, good on you. Kudos. I say welcome to the, we don't sit for shit club. You're going to be one of those dads who are like, almost like in The Office where Stanley yells, "Did I stutter?" It's the same level of
big time
of energy. But I love it, man. I love to hear it.
Big time. I cross that's it. Like I think this is it. This is like crossing from being a guy to a man.
Hell yeah.
This is it. Like dude. Like I'm engaged. I have a proper career, but like this is me being like basically a dad without a child.
Dude,
basically, right?
You're once you get a dog, you're a proper dinkwad. You know,
Yep.
not only double income with a dog. This is almost like just somehow spelled dad without kids. Love it.
All right, go see Sinners. It's an amazing film.
Oh yeah.
If there's one thing you need to take out of this is like Sinners is a great film. Go support it. It's the biggest opening by an original film since Us. And this is more a comment about how little original film there is. But the fact that it made 48 millions in the opening weekend, this was the biggest opening for an original film since 2019, I think, which is crazy. It's a bit crazy. And good job by Ryan Coogler, because he also, Warner Brothers wanted this film so much that he was able to negotiate top gross dollars. So he makes money. He makes a percentage of the revenue of the film before they even pay back for the film itself, like the film budget. Normally it's after the film budget. He got it before, which is like the type of thing that Christopher Nolan would get. So good job on him. And he also will get ownership of the film back in 25 years. So it's basically Warner Bros. Has a lease on the film for 25 years. And then he will solely own the film basically in 2050, which is something that like nobody is able to negotiate. Even Scorsese doesn't own the film. But he was able to get this. And I think he said that it was important because the film is about Black culture, and the theme of it is about how Black culture is taken for profit by basically either white people or by other people. And Black culture is one of the most consumed culture in the world by mostly, like, I think it's something like 70% of Black culture is consumed by white people. It's international. It's enormous. So it was important for him that the ownership of the film come back to its rightful owner, which is the people that produce the art. And I think that's a great cause to support. Even if you are just mildly interested, you're still supporting something that is more important than the film itself.
Freaking rights, this is talking about a message. This is a freaking message, Support your local artists, support culture, support film culture. This is what Warfare was missing. Something where you hear it and you're like,
fuck yeah.
Fucking A. I'm like, hell yeah.
Put your money where your mouth is. Is that the expression?
Yeah.
That's it. That's exactly it.
And we'll catch you on the next one.
Cheers, everyone.